to the San Diego Padres, I just want to share a few thoughts about how I feel about the San Diego Padres and what to expect. One of the interesting things about the San Diego Padres, and especially when we're talking about pitchers like Shota Imanaga, Matthew Boyd, and Jameson Taillon, guys we're going to have to lean on in a wild card round as we hope and pray that the lower back tightness from Cade Horton clears up. When it comes to San Diego Padres, they are bottom of baseball in terms of hitting home runs. They've been better in the second half of the season. Now, here's where it gets interesting. San Diego Padres, second to last in baseball in hitting home runs. The Chicago Cubs right now sit at 7th. But they have a lot of other interesting qualities to them. The first one that you have to keep in mind, and this could play to the Cubs' advantage because they have a good defense. When it comes to the San Diego Padres, they put the ball in play. They have third fewest Ks and strikeouts in all of baseball. The Chicago Cubs are about sixth fewest, so they both put the ball in play. San Diego Padres are also 18th in stolen bases, which is fine. They also have a good batting average. So they put the ball in play, and they have a lot of guys that hit for a little bit of higher average than the Cubs. Padres are 8th, Cubs are 14th. In the second half of this season, however, their offense has been a little bit better. After the All-Star break, they've had an OPS of 8th. They've also had an on-base percentage of 5th. So their offense, in many ways, has been slightly better than the Chicago Cubs. But what I'm getting at is here's the advantage and here's the key. The Chicago Cubs have guys that can hit home runs in their lineup. They don't have monsters or big boppers, but they have multiple guys with over 20 home runs this season. Dansby Swanson, Ian Happ, Seiya Suzuki, Kyle Tucker, Pete Crow Armstrong, and team leader Michael Busch. They got Carson Kelly not too that far away from that with 17. So they have guys that can hit the ball over the fence. The San Diego Padres, outside of Manny Machado and outside of Fernando Tatis, do not have that quality. They put the ball in play, which is good for the Chicago Cubs because they have a great defense, and they don't hit the ball out of the ballpark, which is great for the Chicago Cubs because they offer up a lot of home runs. So this matchup, in a vacuum, just offense to offense and pitching and all that stuff, it does favor the Chicago Cubs. And I will sit right here and I will tell you that I do like, and I favor, and I'm predicting the Chicago Cubs are going to advance out of the wild card round and are going to be playing the Milwaukee Brewers a week from today, next Saturday, most likely at Miller Park. The only thing that worries me, and when it comes to the Cubs, I'm lying. A couple things worry about me. But the big main one is that when it comes to the San Diego Padres, their bullpen is awesome. They've got some nasty dudes back there, believe you me. And it isn't just their closer, Robert Suarez, and it isn't just the guy that they acquired, Mason Miller, a guy that I know a lot of Cubs fans probably pined over and wish that they could even be our closer right now. And it isn't even the fact they lost Jason Adams for the season. They got guys like Wandy Peralta, Jeremiah Estrada, Adrian Marjon. They have several dudes that can go out there with nasty stuff that are having great seasons. So, Chicago Cubs, the key. Bring out those power bats, and you got to score early. You got to get after these San Diego Padres starters. Nick Pivetta having a great season. The rest of those guys, they've been a little shaky at times. Dylan Cease has been up and down all year long. Yu Darvish, not quite the pitcher that he used to be. Michael King is coming off an appearance where he just walked 5 guys. He hasn't been the sure thing either. So the Cubs have to get after the San Diego Padres pitching staff. That rotation early on, if it is a close, tight game, and it starts turning into the Cubs bullpen versus the Padres bullpen, that's where you might get a little scared as a Cubs fan. It's going to be hard to scratch runs against these types of guys. And vice versa. Matthew Boyd, Shota Imanaga, they've had trouble giving up home runs early on in games. They have to be clean in those first few frames. They have to be careful with Manny Machado. Have to be careful with Fernando Tatis. And honestly, Ramon Laureano, a guy that they acquired over the deadline, has been one of their best hitters. Since coming over, he's got an OPS of 848. He's been fantastic. Expecting slug the rest of the season, 544 into the playoffs. So he's no joke either. The Cubs have all the components to advance in this wild card round. And yes, the offense has been incredibly frustrating at times. And as I'm doing this taping right now, I don't know if Kyle Tucker is in or out. If you're asking me, I think he's in. I think he's playing DH, but he might be compromised. He might be hampered. The Cubs have the defense. They have the starting pitching, and they have enough power and speed to get past the San Diego Padres. It would behoove them, though, to try and score some runs on the early side of things, own a lead, protect a lead, and do everything you can to hold on to it for dear life. They ran a stat early on this year, and it's a bit of an obvious stat, but when you're first in anything, it's always really nice. For the Chicago Cubs are first in Major League Baseball with a record of when they score first. They've only lost 2 games all year when they've scored first in a game. Not rocket science. Cubs got to get up on that run lead early, hold on to that lead, keep tacking on runs, and just watch out for that Padres bullpen. And if it's at Wrigley Field, and if you go to a game at Wrigley Field, guys, make some noise. No apathy. No show me or let's see what happens until they get to the division series, the championship series. We're going to need you every pitch, every out, every inning. These playoff appearances are sacred, and you don't know what happens once you get in there. It really turns into a toss-up. And the Chicago Cubs, they have components to put some noise into this postseason and be a dangerous team. I think they are going to get through this wild card round, and I'm hoping I'm coming back next week to preview an NLDS with the Cubs and the Milwaukee Brewers about to take the field for a best-of-5 series. It'll probably be pretty epic and very emotional.